Hello everyone, this is Arkady from JT5, and today we're going to do a quick video on how to troubleshoot issues with the hydraulic quick hitch on this Rippa R32. After receiving the machine, JT5 conducts the testing of all of the machine functions, and that includes the hydraulic quick hitches. So we operated the hydraulic quick hitch for 5 times, and after that it was stuck in the open position and it would not close. And you can see it by this piece, it's pulled all the way back in, and when it closes, it should slide out. So let's troubleshoot together on how to find a solution for this problem, and similar steps should be applicable to all of the other Rippa Excavator models that use hydraulic quick hitches. So first, I'll get in the cab, I will try to engage it one more time. Maybe it fixes on its own, I doubt it, but let's see. Here's our hydraulic quick hitch button. So to engage it, we would slide this slider up and click it. We will start the machine and see if it's going to open the quick hitch. To start the machine, we got to make sure that the hydraulic lock is up. Then we're going to take our key, turn it to the left for 5 to 7 seconds. This is our glow plugs. And then we're going to turn it to start. Okay, machine started. Now I will click the button and see if the quick hitch is going to close. The sound that you're hearing, this is the indication that the quick hitch is open. Now I'm closing it. But as we can see, the quick hitch doesn't respond. Now I will lower the boom a little bit to bring the quick hitch lower so we can conduct an inspection of the hydraulic lines and check for catastrophic failures and hydraulic oil. Here's a close-up of the hydraulic quick hitch. We can see that both of the lines for the hydraulic cylinder are dry. There's no drips on the ground. Then also we're going to check for any mechanical obstructions, in case there's like a weld that's getting in the way. I don't see anything. It looks normal to me, and because it was working before, there shouldn't be any mechanical obstructions there. Then we're checking up the lines, right? So again, no leaks there. And then this line goes inside the boom. If the quick hitch doesn't move at all, it should be catastrophic failure. And then there would be oil dripping either from the top of the boom or at this joint. Again, everything dry here. I don't see any drips. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get underneath the floor plate and check if we see any oil drips there. To take off the floor plate, first we'll take out the floor mat. We'll take it out. Now we'll just lift up the floor plate. Be careful not to scratch the paint. Here's what we can see underneath the floor plate. I don't see any oil leaks. And we're specifically interested in this valve over here. Make sure that there's nothing leaking from there. So everything looks dry. Just to be sure, now we're going to check the multi valve and see if there's any leaks in that area. To lift up the multi valve cover, first we need to open the engine compartment. And then here's a little latch that we're going to pull down and just lift the cover up. Here's a close-up of this compartment. So again, we don't see any catastrophic hydraulic oil drips. And everything looks dry. Our hydraulic coil is slightly lower, but that's normal because right now we have the boom up and some of the oil went to the boom cylinder. So that leads me to believe that the issue is not with the hydraulic lines. With hydraulic lines out of the picture, now let's take a look at our switch and check if it's working. We'll check if the switch has power. So we'll turn the key to get the power to the machine. Then we will engage the switch. We can hear the audio signal. And there's actually a light on the switch that lights up. So I know the switch has power. Now we're going to check if the switch is sending the power to the solenoid valve. That's going to be controlling the quick hitch. Let's assume we don't know which valve it is and the excavator will have multiple. The easy way to tell if the valve is being engaged by the switch is that the red light should light up when you put the switch in the on position. I'm gonna turn the switch on, and as you see, red light is going on this solenoid valve. So that tells me this is the solenoid valve for the hydraulic hitch. This solenoid valve consists of a spool that moves up and down with the help of this magnetic electric coil. So the two failure places that can be is one, the coil can be faulty or the spool valve can be stuck. So first, let's check if the coil works, as it is the easiest thing to check before we would go and check out the spool valve. To take the coil out, we just need to take off this top nut, and this is going to be M19 wrench. And it will just slide up. Now we need to check if the coil actually can be magnetic. So right now with no power, I can take this metal Allen key. If I place it inside, it's not magnetic. If I will turn the key and engage the quick hitch, we see that the red light went on. The coil should be magnetic now. And if I put the Allen key in, it's magnetic. There can be issues where the coil, it doesn't have enough magnetic force, but with this one, just based from experience, it feels normal to me, so I would say that the coil is fine. The nut on the spool valve, to us it looks like it's a 25 mil, which is not a common wrench size. So here I have a 24 millimeter crowfoot wrench, and it's too small. Then if I take a 26 mil, it's loose. So in order to prevent the damage of the nut by going with an oversized wrench, we will use an adjustable wrench that can be made tight, and then we'll open it. But because it is a hydraulic spool valve, there is a chance that the hydraulic oil will start flowing down. So first we will just put some plastic and rags underneath to make the cleanup afterwards easier. So we use some shrink wrap and with the help of duct tape to tape it around the spool valve. And this should hopefully prevent any oil spilling down. And then we'll just throw some shop towels down there to absorb it. Now let's unscrew the valve. Yeah, as we see, the oil starts to leak. Okay, good thing it's nothing major. Here's how it looks, and we're just gonna clean it. As you see, the oil level is going up, and to minimize the mess, we're actually gonna put a spare one just to hold it and stop from leaking, while we will troubleshoot the one that was there. Okay, So we just dried it off from the hydraulic coil, and we're gonna test if this spool valve works or not. So if you can see inside, there's a little spring in the piston. It should move when the electric coil engages. So we'll just put it into the coil, and now we'll click the button and see if it moves. Oh, see, it just started to move. Oh, whatever was there just started to work. So we dried up the spool, and just upon further inspection, we see a little speck of something over there. We'll try to get it out because that's probably the reason why it was getting stuck. Don't know how it got there, but anyways, this valve should be working now. We'll just put it back into the coil and test it. All right, so now we're just gonna conduct the final tests before reinstalling the spool back. Perfect, works as a charm. We'll just reinstall it and test our quick hitch. All right, we'll take out the valve that we were using as a plug. I'll put the clean one back in. Just wipe off the hydraulic coil. And tighten it. Okay, that feels nice and tight. Okay, now I'll just go ahead and clean up everything, and then we'll reinstall the coil. Check it out, there's 0 spills. Okay, now we're gonna reinstall the coil. So it was pointing up. Here we can see the torque marks from the quality control. Just slide it on and put this nut on top. Turn it that way. It doesn't need to be super tight. I would say that should be good. All right, so at this point, I expect the hydraulic quick hitch to work. So before we'll put the floor plate back on, we'll test it. Okay, we're starting the machine. Lowering the hydraulic lock. And as we saw, the hydraulic quick hitch locked. Now we're gonna cycle it. It opens and it closes. Perfect. That's what we want to see. Now we'll put on the floor plate and the floor mat. Not to forget to put the paper back on, not to get the floor mat dirty. We hope that you found this video useful. The same troubleshooting techniques can be applied to all of the functions that's hydraulically powered but controlled by electric button. That can include your extendable tracks, your double speed travel motors, your tilting dozer blade, and so on. If you're going to have any questions about Rippa equipment, or if you're looking to buy Rippa equipment, such as like mini excavators, skid steers, or wheel loaders, please visit joytv.com to contact your nearest dealer. And as always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe.